It's not every day that you get flagship status earbuds stacked with features for around $60, but with the QCY MeloBuds N70, it's definitely the case. Well, at least this is what the specs will make you think, so let's see if the buds can deliver in real life too. Hi, my name is Andy and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. Thanks for tuning in. Now, the MeloBuds N70 is indeed the most advanced set of earbuds the manufacturer QCY have to offer. It has active noise cancellation, it comes with a Bluetooth 6.0 chip on board which supports the LDAC codec, Google Fast Pair and dual device connection, and we also get a fairly sophisticated two-way speaker setup. The all-plastic earbuds weigh in at around 5.3 grams each, wearing them is comfy even after hours and hours of use, and there are 5 sets of silicone tips to accommodate differently shaped and sized ear canals. The build quality is bang on for the money, and there is the IPX5 badge, which means that the N70 buds are just a notch above average as far as protection against rain, sweat and splashes. And since they sit nicely and securely in my ears, I believe that these earbuds could easily be used for workouts as well. Onto the battery case, it is compact, it fits in most pockets easily, it comes with a solid hinge on its lid for easy access to the earbuds, and it also supports wireless charging, which is a rare feature in this price bracket. The total battery life can be up to 50 hours, and the earbuds can last up to 10 hours on a single charge. However, that's with the active noise cancelling turned off. With the ANC on, the performance drops down to 35 hours and 7 hours respectively, the latter of which I can confirm as at about 50% of volume, I managed to get a bit more than 6.5 hours before the first warning to charge the buds. A 10-minute fast charging can yield another 2 hours of use, and again, the case does not only come with a USB Type-C port, but it can also be charged wirelessly. One thing to mention here is that all these numbers are valid only if you use the AAC audio codec, and the minute you switch to LDAC, you can expect much shorter use times. But the good news is that the dual device connection will work even with the LDAC codec enabled, so you don't have to choose between these two features, as it's the case with most earbuds. The switching between sources tends to be fast and smooth, and the dual device connection is platform agnostic. A gaming mode is available, but even without enabling it, the latency of the N70 is low enough for watching videos without any lip sync issues. But if you want game mode, you can activate it not only from the app, but also from the controls on the earbuds themselves. Which takes us nicely to the touch panels located at the top of each stem. The single, double, triple and long press actions are all available and can be fully remapped individually on each side, which gives us absolute freedom in setting up the functionality of the touch controls. The panels register taps more or less accurately, and the reaction times are fast enough too, so there is not much to complain. I only found the smart sensors to be a bit unreliable. The automatic play and pause only works like 8 times out of 10 as it should, and it always takes a good couple of seconds before the playback pauses after removing one or both earbuds. But again, for the most part it works, and for the money you would not necessarily expect such a feature in the first place. And QCY went even further and gave us the option to fine-tune the settings of the wear detection sensors in their smartphone app. And speaking of the app, it's stacked with settings and options. There are some sound profile presets along with a 10-band manual EQ, a hearing test, multiple noise cancelling modes, custom controls, find device, an auto power-off timer, a fit test, the smart sensor settings, the option to change the volume of the audio prompts, a game mode switch, a sleep mode which disables the touch controls, an LDAC switch, a dual device connection switch and firmware updates. That's quite a long list of features which would be impressive even at twice the price. Now, the only thing I was not particularly impressed with was the active noise cancellation. I mean, in absolute terms, the N70 simply does not give you the level of isolation you might expect, but of course, considering its price, it delivers a very good performance, especially in its adaptive mode. Both the indoor and the commuting modes can be adjusted in the app, and it gives you the chance to dial in the level of noise cancellation you need, but most of the time the adaptive mode will work just fine. The only case where I would switch to the indoor mode is casual use in a quiet environment, because I found that at its lowest setting it gives me much less of a white noise, and it also makes using the earbuds more comfortable, as there is less of that cabin pressure feel inside my ear canals that way. The transparency mode offers 6 different strength settings, with level 6 being way too intense and digital, while level 1 is not that much different from normal mode, which is practically the ANC turned off. Level 4 offers a good middle ground here, and there is a vocal enhancement mode, which can come in handy when carrying out a conversation with someone. For outside use, a wind noise mode is available too, but you shouldn't expect it to handle strong winds that well at all. I found that jumping between the different ambient modes will not change the sound signature of the earbuds in any meaningful way, so that's another good point in my book.
Now let me give you 2 audio samples using the built-in microphones on the QCY MeloBuds N70, so you can have an idea of the phone call quality you can expect from these earbuds. This first audio sample is being recorded in a quiet room. And for the second one, I stepped outside to add some traffic noise and a slight breeze to the pen. So let me know what you think in the comments down below.
And now it's time to talk about the sound quality of the MeloBuds N70. As I mentioned already, we are dealing with a two-way setup here, which means that there is a traditional dynamic transducer for bass duties and the MEMS tweeter for the higher frequencies. And the sound delivered by these two speakers is quite dynamic and fun overall. The bass impact is very dramatic, with plenty of kick in the mid-bass and a better than average extension in the lowest octaves. Modern genres sound very powerful and quite invigorating indeed, but with classical or more instrumental stuff, I would personally prefer a slightly more subdued approach. But what I like about this over-the-top bass is that it is kept under control relatively well, so it never gets too loose or overly boomy. For how hefty it is, it stays tight and clean. The lower mids on the other hand could be more open, as the slight dip here makes voices sound a touch dark, and overall the whole mid-range could be more forward and open as well. I also miss a bit of a richness and clarity from the sound of vocals and instruments. As a result, speech intelligibility suffers a bit, so if you want the best podcasting experience, you might want to bring the bass down and pull up the mids a little to give human voices a bit of that clarity and some boost. And speaking of a boost, this is something you definitely get in the treble. The higher octaves are full of energy and detail with great top-end extension. And despite that excess energy being present across the higher frequencies, the treble only gets a bit harsh or coarse closer to maximum volume. But since these buds can get really loud, I would not recommend pushing them beyond the 75 or 80% mark, so that way you can avoid having issues in the long run. But regardless of the audio levels, the soundstage is well structured and quite spacious, with excellent separation. The only earbuds under the $100 mark that can deliver an even more impressive, almost holographic imaging are the Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro Plus, and that's not really a surprise, as those buds use a similar dual driver setup. The Capsule 3 Pro Plus comes with less punch in the bass and with more forward and neutral mids, so certain, rather classical genres can sound more sophisticated through the Soundpeats buds. But if you need that extra kick and extension in the bass, with energizing details up top along with a generously built soundstage, then I believe that the QCY MeloBuds N70 are hard to beat for the money. And again, we are talking about a price of $60. I can easily see someone spending twice as much money without getting much more of a performance. Maybe if ANC is your primary concern, you might want to step up in price, but other than that, I don't really see the point. The overall design is great, comfort is top-notch, we get an abundance of features, settings and options, along with a decent battery life and an impressive sound quality. And that's it for today. If you liked the video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave a comment should you have anything to ask or share. Thanks for watching everyone, hope to see you all in the next one.